Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm doing a reaction on what is woke culture, does it matter to India? So I'm kind of curious because it seems like it's really weird. It's happening in both the East and the West. Now I don't know obviously if it's happening in all parts of Asia or the East or the Middle East or Africa, but Europe, America, Canada. I don't know Mexico, Central America, or South America. I don't know if it's happening there. But in India, apparently it is, because that's where most of my followers are. So this is kind of an interesting one. I just so happen to see it, and I've reacted to his videos before. So, anyways, what is woke culture, and does it matter to India? So, I don't know the genuine, true definition of woke culture. Although, I don't know how to describe it honestly, but but the problem is the forcing of ideas. Anyways, let's go and get started.
Is woke culture really a thing to consider, or is it something we can ignore? Good question. Woke culture is taking over the United States right now and much of the Western world. So, what is woke culture? Woke culture is something that has emerged in the vacuum left behind after the fall of Christianity. So, in the past, in the 1980s, when the Pope would visit any country in Europe or in the West, there would be hundreds of thousands of people lining the streets waiting to catch a glimpse of the Pope. Today, when the Pope visits some place, there's nobody on the streets. So that gives you an indication of the decline of Christianity and the way people are rejecting Christianity in the West, because now people are becoming aware of the true history of Christianity, that it has played a very major political role in Europe. It has been the real center of power, and it has, well, you can read up the history of the popes to understand the real role of Christianity. So,
real quick, I thought it was Catholic over in I guess it is Christianity too, but throughout the history books, it's always been Catholics though. Has it been Catholics? The Crusade, is that Catholic or Christian? My gosh, I know about the Crusades being either Catholic or Christian. Again, I don't know the differences between those two, not because I don't study the religion. I know they're the same but different, if you get that reference, but it's still true to say it's saying the different. I know they're from similar. Maybe it's a branch off of something. But anyways, I don't know if I necessarily agree. It's a vacuum from Christianity. Now, don't get me wrong. Christianity is on the fall. I believe religion in general, I think, is on the fall. I don't know the statistics on that, but I think it is more along the lines of, I don't think it's the fall of Christianity. I think it is how easy things have become. And I think people, purely opinion here, I think people want to be saviors, do-gooders, must have a purpose in life that's better than just providing for your family, better than just having a job. You wanna have your statues of yourself up there. But to show that I am the doer of good, and by seeing all this little tiny things without doing research or understanding the situation, they say, oh, that is bad, let me stand up for you, kind of deal. Again, and how easy things have become, it's really weird. I've said this before, that I think people just try to find problems because their life is so easy that either one, they try to find problems where there's not, or two, they can't take responsibility for their actions, so they blame other people. I think those two. Life has become so easy that they cannot take responsibility for their action. If they fail, it's not their fault. Not my fault. Not at all. Like, if this video fails, not my fault. It's you guys' fault. And the fact that people are just wanting to do good. I think that's the real case. I don't think it's necessarily the fall of Christianity. Let me know what you guys think.
Europe and the West have woken up to this. They are leaving Christianity in en masse. Now, the thing is that Christianity has been the moral foundation of the West for about 1,000 years, if not more. So every person needs a moral foundation in their life, a set of moral principles to live by. because it is very difficult to think on your own about what is right, what is wrong. It's people, thinking is hard work. People don't like to think. They like to be told what to do. That's why they look up to leaders, and they need moral principles, something that is already ready made for them that they can follow. And because they are now realizing what Christianity truly is, and because they are leaving Christianity in so many numbers, they are left without a moral compass. So they are left without a rule book that will guide them in life. And the leftists have jumped into this vacuum by giving them this woke ideology.
Now, without going, I guess, into the idea of what is woke culture, I wouldn't say necessarily that, again, this moral compass, because trust me, on the what he's talking about, the left, they have a moral compass of what's good. It's and that's what the woke ideology is, essentially, is their moral compass, in a sense. But I think it's more along the lines of it's really hard. I think it has to do, like, for example, for me, whenever I first arrived in the United States and growing up, I did not realize this and until I started watching some YouTube videos that were, how do I say, centrist, I suppose, maybe right-leaning. And the things that most people believe in this leftist, I don't mean all left, of course, but these extremes of the left is what I believed in. I believed in that all women are perfect, that they can do no wrong, great leaders. If the women led the world, then there'd be no wars. We'd live in peace and utopia. I believe that you can't hit women and women can hit men, no problem. I mean, this is the commercials and the movies that you see, even in Japanese anime. Actually, you see it very much in Japanese anime, but I don't know necessarily whether they kind of accept that in their culture or not. But it's just these things, and that the men are fools, that men can't do right, men are the problem. Now I didn't believe it like super hard, but these ideas, like, yeah, I could believe that. Men are fools. They can't do right. Guess who started all the wars? Men. Even though, well, according to one statistics, definitely fact check this to crap. Whenever women were in power, they actually started more wars than men, or more likely to go to wars. But anyways, but also the fact that women have never been in power, only men. But then you forget that there were queens who were in power. No. Women in power? No. It's only been men. But yeah, and the fact that women didn't have the right to vote in the United States for a while, there was a reason behind it. But you don't want to know the reason. Just the fact that they didn't have the power to vote, it's all enough. You don't need to know the reason why. You don't need to know the details as to why. No. Just the fact that they didn't. It's very complicated. But anyways, let's continue.
So woke ideology is about the moral high ground. It's about doing the right thing, etc.
Yeah.
But the right thing is very distorted when it comes to woke culture.
Yes.
It is all about identity politics. It's all about
victim points,
empowering a certain political ideology, and that ideology actually is Marxism. It is cultural Marxism, which takes a myriad number of forms. It has a lot of different manifestations, and woke culture is the latest manifestation of cultural Marxism.
Now, I didn't study up on Marxism or communism too much at all, actually, matter of fact. I don't know if those are the same, or is Marxism even more of an extreme of communism, or perhaps maybe Marxism is more of the social aspect as opposed to the business aspect. I don't know. I'm not sure. Again, Marxism I've just only heard bypassing. I've never really bothered researching. Communism is government controlled, I believe. Well, yeah, government controlled. Socialism is supposed to be the people control, but I think my idea, just to throw it out there so you guys know if I'm a fool or not, probably. But anyways, we have, just say the central, a balance between capitalism or what I like to call corporatism and communism. Then you have capitalism, you have capitalism, and then you have socialism. Then you have the dead center, which is a mix between capitalism and socialism, a mixed hybrid of the economy. Pure capitalism will lead to corporatism, and what I mean by corporatism is where corporations become so powerful, they have a monopoly in the market, where they even become the controlling governments, because they become so rich and so powerful that they have more power than the governments. Whereas communism, socialism leads into communism, because socialism can only work so much. You can only, because it's supposed to be everyone has a vote. Well, you have like, say, 300 million people. It's very difficult to get every single person's vote. And then you end up saying, okay, we're going to have a government that kind of gives an idea of what people want, and then you eventually develop what I believe is to be communism, because it's very difficult to have everyone's vote. It's easy, 5 people, socialism, perfect, everyone can vote, everyone's here, great, moving on. But when that gets bigger and bigger and bigger, socialism breaks down. It has to evolve into kind of like a representation slightly. But anyways, continue.
It's all about dividing a society among various identities and creating this conflict between the identities. And it's all about taking the moral high ground, that my ideology is morally superior to yours, and therefore I can hate you, and you need to be marginalized and cancelled and all that.
Also, I'm sorry I'm pausing so much, but he makes a lot of points. I'll say the victimhood mentality. It's not that I have a moral high ground, but I have the mental victimhood high ground. I am more victimized than you, so therefore I should be better. It's technically the same, but it's over here. It's more of the victimhood mentality. My skin color, my eye color, where I come from, my disability, my identity, my favorite color, even my favorite color is making me a victim kind of deal. It's really crazy that they develop so many victimhoods, and it's very refreshing to see people who get out of these things. And they say it's so exhausting to be playing the victim so much, because they believe in like everything they see is just like against them, and it must be freaking terrible. Garbage, not really, it's not the right word, but terrible, just to see that everything's against you, to see so much negativity in the world. Jeez.
And that is unfortunately now being exported to India. So all these misguided students who study in all these various universities, JNU and various other universities, especially in the humanities departments, they are all exposed to this new woke religion by these professors who are all Marxist professors, who all follow the Marxist ideology. They're all ideologues. They're all overground workers of the communist cause, these professors. India has allowed them to take over the academic system, especially the humanities, and that's why this is now being exported to India. And they are again dividing India in various classes. It's all about destroying Hinduism. So you don't say Hinduism, you say Brahmanism in order to attack Hinduism, because the Brahmin class was basically the people
Priests.
who had the knowledge, who were in charge of preserving India's knowledge. So that is being attacked, so that India's knowledge disappears, and therefore you can undermine the foundations of Hinduism and India's ancient culture. And then they create this class divide between Dalits and various other people, etc. Even this term Dalit is a very new term. It's all thanks to Mr. Gandhi, and later it was taken up by the Marxists. So this woke ideology, this woke culture is now being exported into India. It is becoming a nuisance. So that's where we are. We need to take it very seriously. We cannot ignore it. And the way to tackle it properly is to reform the academic system. Basically, what do I say? The academic system needs to be decontaminated of its Marxist leanings, which is throughout it. Even the IITs are full of these humanities departments, which I've spoken about earlier. So it's all about basically decontaminating and reforming India's academic system. Until that is done, it's going to become a bigger and bigger problem in India.
Oops, I'm gonna pause it right there anyway. But yeah, I mean, he ain't wrong. It's kind of, again, I think it's more than just a vacuum of Christianity or any religious things. I think it's a vacuum. Vacuum. I think it's a vacuum of, at least I would say maybe in India, because India is still a developing country, so it can't necessarily be development, I think, but it is probably in India. It's more of a vacuum of the ancient culture there. But I don't think so, because I don't believe it's probably spread all over India. So this is why I say it's not necessarily a Western ideology. I think it's more along the lines of how easy life has gotten. So I think these wokeism are in areas where life is so easy. So this doesn't apply to any type of, whether you're fully developed, undeveloped, whatever developed. It's cities particularly. So let me know if that's relatively true. Do you see this more in like large developed cities as opposed to say like maybe smaller, perhaps less developed, maybe doesn't have a, I don't know. I don't know what a Walmart is over there, but like a very big shopping center that's like in everywhere. Like if you don't have one of these things, you are in the boondocks. You're in the woods somewhere. And they have places like that in the United States. This is kind of, it's kind of funny, but yeah, if you don't have a Walmart, you're kind of like, you know, you're still kind of in the woods a little bit, I suppose. But some people like the woods. Like some people love country. But anyways, but yeah, is it more in like big developed areas and less so in like smaller areas? That's what I think. That's my theory anyway for this wokeism stuff, is when you have a very easy life, you don't have a sense of purpose, so you seek it out. And we, as being social animals, want to be part of a group. And because I think because people are socially awkward, that they need something to attach to be part of a group. So, and as again, as social animals, we don't want to be alone. So in my head, there's so many things that goes into this for this to rise up. You want a purpose in life. You don't want to be alone. To not be alone, you have to attach to something in common, something easy. People like to be good. There you go. You want to be good? You want to attach yourself to an ideology so you won't be alone? Boom. It's super easy to just preach something and say something and not do anything. So all they do is just yell and scream and not actually do anything. And then now they find a purpose. Now they're do-gooders for the greater good. Anyways, but yeah. So I think that's the case where if you're too busy trying to survive, you don't have the time to think about this. And it amazes me in some parts of where I live, they don't really hear that over here because of the particular state that I live in. Let me just put it that way. It's in bigger areas here, but not so much in little areas, I guess you could say. So it remains relatively true, but I think in a more developed country, it's going to be more spread. How do I say, more spread throughout the population, depending on how big the country is, and I guess that is playing more for factors how large the country is and how much telecommunication is available to the populace. So even as Americans, I don't think too many people know about it, but I think it's growing. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this down below, especially with my statements. Anyways, it's my reaction to what is woke culture. Does it matter to India? If you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, thumbs down down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.